Hi guys, welcome back to Wargaming China, our free channel, where I platform my understandings of the war of resistance against Japanese aggression in China from 1941 to 1945. But from now on I'm just going to call it the war of resistance. So here at Wargaming China we're getting the war of resistance. I put my games on to share them with toy soldier enthusiasts, other wargamers, anybody who likes a bit of obscure history. Now today we're back at the mountains at the rear of Tianjiazhen. Now I've been playing this game as a 10 turn game and it's really been excellent. It's been a lot of fun. The game is just wound up. It's the Japanese have just close assaulted the first Chinese position at the top of the hill, and that's fallen. And then on the Chinese turn, the morale's finally collapsed. It was a very close run game, it was a kind of game where I could have done so much more things with it, but because I'm a solo game and I don't like rolling the dice, you know, to me a good game involves good rules involve little dice rolling. So there was a Chinese defending the rear of Tianjiazhen, as you can remember. The Japanese, after doing some flooding, the Chinese flooded their rears. The Japanese were able to use this to counterattack, and this counterattack will lead to the fall of Tianjiazhen by the 25th of September, and by the end of October, Wuhan itself will fall. The only thing holding the Japanese amphibious forces back now from Wuhan is clearing up the booms, because after 2 weeks Tianjiazhen fell of combat, and then it took the Japanese a while to get through the 400 booms in the minefields, but they did it. And that was basically all that stopped them getting to Wuhan, where the final fortresses would be found. But Wuhan was just such a... I didn't have the imagination to set up the actual final assault on Wuhan, because when you say Wuhan, it's a fork in the Yangtze River. So there's a city on each side of that fork. On each point of the fork is a city. Hanyang, Wuchang, and Hankow. So to do the amphibious assault on it, it was just beyond my table. And also I thought I'd taken this campaign as far as I could as a solo wargamer. So what happened in my game? Well, in my game, I decided to have the Japanese amphibious forces coming on right at the other side of the table, and that would allow me time to try and crush for the Chinese to try and crush the Japanese. And as the Chinese player, I chose the Japanese left flank to assault, and I threw as much firepower onto my right flank on his left as I could, and then I launched an entire infantry battalion downhill to the Japanese positions. But the Chinese just weren't throwing good dice this whole game. The Japanese were throwing a little bit better. You put that down to marksmanship or generalship. Anyway, the Chinese counterattack failed, took extreme casualties. The Japanese eventually did make it to the beaches. Now I could have had each boat rolling a dice, each Japanese boat rolling a dice to see if it founders or beaches, but I thought there was enough going on with the game that I didn't need to add that. The Japanese brought with them a battalion of light mountain guns, Red Regiment infantry guns. And by the time they started the Chinese had already had a lot of casualties, because this game, the entire game, is set within rifle range of each other. I'll show you what I mean, how I played this game. And as I said, this might show you where I differ from how other people play rapid fire. But yeah, for the high ground, for the Chinese troops on the high ground, when I measured their shooting distances to the Japanese, I measured from the bottom of the slope to the Japanese. And when the Japanese shot back, I measured from the Japanese position to the position of the Chinese. And that's how, I mean, I think that's exactly right for how you play it in rapid fire, but that's how I'll play anyway, to give the proper advantage of high ground. So all of this took range, the whole battle took from turn one was well within rifle range of each other. And I had the Chinese firing as militia, but for morale rolls, I rolled them as regular. And for the Japanese, I had them shooting as elite, and for morale rolls, I rolled them as regular. It was just to even up the battlefield. As I say, in a solo game, you won't have any arguments about how you tweak the rules. The troops that I brought up are, because as I've said before in this, they're not quite right for this period. They're Lloyd infantrymen, Japanese Lloyd infantrymen for Late War, but most of them are Eshi figures, artillery figures, nice figures, and I do that just so I can differentiate visually between the forces on the game, because as a single player, it just makes the game easier as a solo gamer. So the Chinese did alright, they did inflict some casualties, but the key to this battle was the Japanese knee mortars. Now, if you look at the OBs, or the OB I said published a few months ago, you would say, Adam, shouldn't there be 2 knee mortars to each rapid fire Japanese infantry company? And you know what? There should be. But if you play it like that, your opponent will scream rape, because it's just far too much firepower for your opponent to be comfortable with. The light mortar, the Japanese knee mortar, is a deadly weapon, so having it underrepresented on the table in rapid fire is probably the best idea. Otherwise, it's just too deadly. So keep your knee mortars to 1 per company. Not you might be tempted to make it 2. I think in each company there's 9 knee mortars. So that's tempting to make it 2 to a company in rapid fire, but don't do it. It's too much firepower. With the Chinese, again, you've seen these figures lots of times. The only real support they had was a 37mm infantry gun, which was soon taken out by knee mortars. And it wasn't taken out by knee mortars, it was taken out by the 75mm mountain gun. And it was a great game. It went down, like I said, it went down to the 10th turn. So, very good game. As I said, Japanese victory here will ensure that their assault on Tianjiazhen is successful. Well, it's not successful. They attack it for 2 weeks, and then they have to shell it with mustard gas, but it does fall. And then the only thing stopping them getting to Wuhan is clearing up the booms. So this really could be seen as, the last battle of the Wuhan campaign before you get to Wuhan. As I said, I'm going to do an epilogue on my campaign and put all my show you all the forces I use and go into a bit more detail as to the why I chose what battles. But that's for another episode, so press subscribe if you don't want to miss that. That's all for me. Hope you enjoyed that. And I'm going to be thinking now about what campaign I'll be doing next year. As far as, I've got a few ideas, but as I said, probably with the next episode or 2, I'll do a epilogue on the whole campaign. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that. Thanks for listening to my waffle. See ya.